Well, first of all, congrats to Indiana State. They played outstanding tonight. They just put a lot of pressure on you, specifically on the offensive end. We really played well. We really played well offensively, but we just didn't have a ton of answers for them. And credit to them, they put a lot of pressure on you in all 5 positions. And what a great environment tonight. Obviously, it's a neutral court game, but, Indiana State's 71 miles away, and they showed up and they showed out, and you could feel that. But I think the guys that are telling it was a great college basketball environment in a legendary facility. And so, obviously we want to win. Our guys are competitors. We wanted to cut down the nets. But it was an amazing college basketball game. And so, to start the game, obviously we didn't get off to the greatest start in the world, got behind by 11 relatively early. We were having some issues with our pick and roll defense, and credit to them. Avila hits 3 threes. I think he got 3 for 4 in that first half. And we made some adjustments that I thought really, really helped us. And then we went to the zone. We probably played more zone tonight than we have in quite some time. I thought it was very effective, specifically early, and got them off attack. And, for us to gain a lot of momentum there and go into halftime tied at 44, we were in a good spot. And so, the second half, obviously, we just didn't have enough answers. I thought they hurt us in transition. They hurt us some in the zone, and then we just really struggled in their man. And like I said, they put a lot of pressure on you. They have 3 playmaking guards that can do a lot of things. They can shoot, pass, handle. They're very unselfish. And then, their big can really shoot it and pass it. And number 20 for them, Kent, is a very good offense rebounder, elite cutter. So credit to them. I'm really proud of our guys. Our guys fought, really fought hard tonight. We have 20 assists again tonight. That's 4 straight games. We have 23 assists, 21 assists, 22 assists, and 20 assists. Our guys really fought and showed a great competitive spirit, stayed together in a very difficult environment. And it's always tough when it ends. But, we're one of 8 teams that are still, we're playing in April, 7th month of the season. These guys really galvanized. I thought we really showed great improvement the last 6 weeks of the season. And so there's always real highs. We had some hard times, but I'm really proud of how we stayed together and fought and competed hard.
Okay, over here, questions for the players?
Brandon Judd with the Deseret News. Brandon, how would you just kind of put into words your emotions that you're kind of feeling after this NIT run? Obviously, Coach talked about how there's been some tough times this year. There's been some big positives, this NIT run. Just how will you kind of look back on this, your senior year?
The senior year was great. It's been real special to be with these guys and have a ton of memories. It's been one of my, it's been a journey for sure. And just the emotions right now. You're just sad it's over. You're sad that you don't have any more games. I'm done playing with these guys up here and my teammates. I'm being coached by Coach Smith. That was it. And so really just kind of processing how it's over now and on to the next for me. But I'm really proud of this team and the things we've overcome and the things we've had to accomplish and where we've got to. And so I'm just proud of these guys, and I'm just very happy to be a part of this team.
Paul Shepard for the Salt Lake Tribune. This is really for any of the players, but similar to the other question, this tournament run, as you kind of reflect back on the way the conference tournament ended for this team, and then to be able to go on this deep tournament run, does it reshape at all sort of your reflections of this season as you think back on this year and having this opportunity to kind of be galvanized, like Coach said?
I think it brought us together in the postseason. I know we're kind of iffy about it, or just wanting to play in the NIT instead of playing in the tournament because we felt we were a tournament team. But I feel like we got really connected during this stretch, during our hard practices, film, scout, whatever we had. I feel like we were all bought in on winning a championship, an NIT championship, and playing for each other, playing for BC, playing for Cole and the guys that were leaving. I think it's a pretty special team. I know I say it in all the media, like this is one of the best teams I've ever been on. And this last postseason stretch kind of really showed like the brotherhood we have and the chemistry we had late on in the season.
Just Gabe, kind of what are your thoughts along those same lines? Obviously tonight was a bit tougher night, but you know, coming into this, I think you had hit 16 threes, you know, 13 over those last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, kind of piggybacking off what Davon said, it was obviously never the goal to play in the NIT, but once we kind of rallied around that, it was a great experience. And for myself personally, like you said, you know, I did not end the postseason playing Pac-12 very well, so it was nice to get some games in and play a little bit better. And yeah, obviously tonight didn't go that great either, but yeah, in retrospect, it was I'm super glad we did it, played in this tournament, and just made more memories with this team.
And this is for any one of you 3, especially in those wins against Iowa and VCU. There was a lot of that. Great defense really helped facilitate the offense. What in your mind kind of made getting stops there in that second half just so difficult?
I just think they're a great team. You know, they do a good job of moving the ball. You got to, you know, rotate over to help, and then they keep finding that open man with those one more passes. And then they're obviously just very skilled all around, can able to create for themselves and for others. So it's just, you know, it's just sometimes just they hit some tough shots, and, you know, giving them credit, I think they just played outstanding tonight offensively, and really gave us some troubles.
And then just final question for the players, and again, anyone who wants to answer this. Obviously, they're in that first half. You get down 11. You know, what helped you kind of weather that early deficit and to be able to get back in that one going into the half?
I would just say staying together. It's not the first time we've been down. I think we started out pretty hot our previous games, had a lead on team, so that kind of threw us off. But once we got used to their environment and just what was going on during the game and adjusting to the defenses and what we messed up on early, I think we settled in pretty fine. We didn't get enough stops. Really, that's what it comes down to. But I think we locked in on what we needed to.
All right, players, you are dismissed. If you want to keep the mic over here, we'll have you 2 guys go back and forth. Anybody else on this side, you 2 can finish up with Coach Smith.
Craig, first half you guys ended up with just 2 turnovers, and that helped going into that half, tied at 44. Early in that second half, I think you had 4 as they're kind of building that lead, and Indiana State ends up with just 1. How big, you know, especially during that second half, where you didn't have a ton of turnovers, but they just kind of felt really big in those moments?
Yeah, I tend to agree. You know, we like I alluded to, we had 20 assists and only 9 turnovers in a high possession game. But certainly when you turn it over, you just feel like, you just feel like every possession on offense is so important because of our struggles on defense, right? And so you just feel like you got to capitalize. And certainly when you turn it over against these guys, much like when we turn people over, like it's very difficult to sprint back and get the ball stopped against a team that's dynamic like them. Just like it's hard to stop us when we create a turnover. It almost always turns into an easy look, whether it's a 2 or an open 3. And so it just puts that pressure just feels magnified. Because at the end of the day, 9 turnovers is really good, right? In a high possession game like that. So, some of those were self-inflicted. Some of those, like those guys are quick. They do a good job. They cover a lot of ground, specifically their guards. They have a lot of makeup ability that way. So, you always, it's not a road game, but it certainly felt like a road game. And so when you play in those types of environments, you just feel like you really have to eliminate losing to win. And so, that's a lot of different things. It's just at the end of the day, I thought, they executed very well. We really struggled to guard the ball in the half court when we were in man. And then I just thought they got loose in transition which they do. And it's when you start doing that, and you got to be able to point and talk and really communicate at an elite level. You know, even just talking to some of the guys, like just how loud it was on the floor. It's really, you know, difficult. And we always have a phrase in our program: you got to violently communicate, right? You have to violently communicate. And that's where I think we've made a lot of growth, specifically the last 6 weeks. Our guys have finally learned how to communicate as a whole, because for a long time we were really, really quiet. But like I said, credit to them, because when they can get a turnover, it turns into a pick six usually pretty quick.
These last couple of games, especially, Gabe has had, you know, some really big offensive numbers for you tonight. He ends up, I think, with about 8 points. Coach Shirt ended up giving a lot of that credit to
Julian Larry.
Did a great
job.
Just what did you see from Julian defensively to kind of hold down Gabe?
Yeah, I said that coming in after the game. He's an elite defender. They clearly were game planning to say Gabe's not going to, you know, Gabe's going to have to earn everything. And so it was very obvious just seeing how they were guarding some of our stuff that we run for Gabe. They were, I don't want to say top lock. I won't get into all that, but they did a good job. And it was primarily him, of course, but some of the actions that we run, they were switching some other guys out to try to take that away, right? And so credit to them. But one thing I'll tell you, when you have Gabe Madsen on the floor, when all the attention goes to him, and that's how they chose to guard, it opens things up for other people, right? And it did. So, okay, you choose to do that. Now we're going to play this way. And so every team going into games, you gotta kind of pick your poison of what you're going to try to take away when you're going against a good offensive team. And we've become a very good offensive team, specifically in the last 6 weeks or so. And so because they were guarding Gabe like that, that opened up a lot of things for Brandon Carlson, for Davon, for Cole, right, and anyone else that was on the floor. And so when you score 90, you know, most nights you're going to be in a good spot. We make 17 threes tonight, which ties a University of Utah men's basketball record, right? And so, but it just still wasn't enough. And that's been a bit of our, you know, issue throughout this season, is just consistency on the defensive end. And we just didn't have enough tonight.
Paul Shepard for the Tribune Star. Coach, wraps up year 3 for you. There's been that incremental progress with the record each year. As you kind of look back, what are some positives that you can take away from this year and this building process, and as you look forward to next year, some steps that you want to see the program take next?
You know, I'll have a lot more time to evaluate some things. I am proud of this team, how we kept fighting. You know, I think over the last 6-7 years, the most wins this program had was 18 or 19, so we made a big jump that way. We were in an amazing position all year. For the NCAA tournament until kind of to that end weekend. You know, a lot of the year, most of the year, we're playing with 9 scholarship guys, 9 or 10, not 9 to 10, depending on the time frame of the year. And so, you know, we've had some things we've had to overcome. The way we recruited, certainly we weren't expecting, you know, a couple of our guys to be in the positions that they had to play this year. So they kind of had to learn a lot of different things. That made it difficult. But again, they never used that as an excuse. Right, we certainly did as a coaching staff, and they're not going to as a player. You just got to be able to figure it out. Injuries are a part of it. Things happen, and that's the beauty of basketball. You just got to be able to figure it out, right? And so then roles change, and that's just part of it. But we were in a position last year. We were in a position as well, and we lost basically our entire backcourt down the stretch. So the last 5-6 games. And so that's been unfortunate. We're always going to look at that. We have an excellent sports science team. Sometimes injuries just happen, and then you're always evaluating everything that goes with it. So I'm excited. We have a rich tradition of excellence at the University of Utah. That's why I wanted to come here. Like, nobody's going to have more goals than me for greatness. I've always said, bring on the competition. I believe in that firmly. Right, and now we're going into the Big 12, which 5 of the last 6 years has been ranked the #1 league on the men's basketball side. So we have work to do. You know, now with everything going on, we've been at this. The transfer portal has been open for 14. Today's what day? Tuesday. So 15 or 16 days now. right? We have some, we've been watching a lot, but we got some work to get done. If anybody tells you they know who's coming back, who's going, you have an idea, but I don't know if you totally know. So, now we're getting back to the recruiting trail. That obviously we've been doing that for a while, but we just got to keep gaining momentum and keep pushing forward.
Brian Henson with the Indianapolis Star. Coach, the crowd tonight, if you could just comment on that and experience, and then just how did it impact? It felt like they're in the middle of the second half when they kind of went on their run and everything kind of felt like it was building against you.
Well, they showed up and they showed out, and you certainly could feel it. And what an amazing facility, right? And you when we walked into practice yesterday morning, we walked in here about 7:40 a.m., which is 5:40 a.m. for Utah time. But it was really cool and almost serene and super peaceful, and you could feel the ambiance yesterday morning, and just the history. And anybody that understands basketball and the tradition of it understands this place has, an amazing tradition, one of the storied facilities or facilities in the country. And so it was really kind of a calming. We had a great practice yesterday, and then tonight obviously it was a different vibe, and it's loud in there. I mean, it is really, really loud, and we knew it was going to be really, really loud. We practiced with music at times, and really, every set that we run and everything we do defensively, we not only have a verbal, but we also have a hand signal. So we have to be on point with that. I thought 2 times specifically in the first half, we're running a play, and 4 of our 5 guys knew the set, right? But you need 5 of the 5, right? And so they made their presence felt. It was an amazing spirit and atmosphere in that facility, but one that I think our guys really embraced and was looking forward to. And so, but we know that can be a huge advantage.
Okay, time for one more question.
Craig, could you just talk about the games that you saw from Davon and Brandon to kind of finish this season? Obviously, they've been, big contributors for you all year, but Davon finishes with a career-high 28 tonight, and Brandon goes out and does BC things tonight.
Yeah, so, BC, every game you go into with BC, you just never know how teams are going to guard. You have an idea because of all the prep. But he just puts a lot of pressure on teams. How are you going to guard? How are you going to guard him in the post? Because he's really difficult to stop one-on-one. How are you going to guard pick and roll when he's setting the ball screen? And then what's the matchup? Like, are they going to put their 5-man on him or their 4-man on him? So there's a lot that goes into it. And you got to be able to figure it out and adapt and adjust as the game progresses. They put number 20 on him most of the game, Kent. And so they chose they were not going to give him threes, at least, within the half court. And certainly there was a few breakdowns where he got a couple. We scored on out-of-bounds play, right on a play we ran for him. And he got one in semi-transition with him and Davon, kind of in a drag screen where they overhelped. But we felt confident we could throw it to him inside. They were bringing the double early, and Brandon did such a good job of skipping it out and creating easy looks for his teammates. And then they pretty much chose to play him one-on-one, and he scored most of those times. Right, and he just had a great look to him. And then, of course, Davon really got going in that second half. I think he even said, like, once we kind of got used to the environment, so to speak, and kind of settled in, and you could see that in that second half, he just started. What was he, 6 for 6 from the 3? Yeah. And so you could see his confidence on the offensive side specifically is really getting better as he gets accustomed to playing that position. And you can see it in practice. He's making more shots, not only in 5-on-5 play, but just in our skill stuff. And we really dedicate a ton of time to skill development, and he's getting a comfort level that way. So he's a dynamic player without question. So we need that. Good teams have good players, right? And you got to have good coaching and everything in between. And you could really start seeing those guys and how they impacted the game in a great way tonight. But at the end of the day, we have to guard better.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you. I just want to send one more thing. Thank you to the NIT and all the people involved. It's been first class in every way from 2 weeks ago and our 3 games at home, and then certainly here. I want to thank our administration. It's not always easy when you get to March and April, like there's a lot of, and I've never been an administrator and I don't want to be, but there's a lot that goes into this thing. And for us specifically, being able to play 3 games at home, there's a lot of things that goes into it. So our administration and everybody that's a part of doing that, and our band coming here, and our cheer squad, and all hopping on the plane to get here. It's been an amazing ride, and so thank you to them and all the people throughout the season. You know, we were able to reestablish home court and having a great home court, and there's a lot that goes into that with our student body and our fan base and everything in between. I want to thank our coaching staff. We have a great staff, and those guys are behind the scenes doing all those types of things. So, and then of course, you know, our players, because those guys do it, man. And you get to the end, and you know, I always have felt like in college athletics has changed so much. We all know this in the last 3 years. But, you know, Cole and BC will never put on that uniform again as a college student athlete, right? If they do it again, it's as a pro. And it's just different at that point. And so the experiences that you gain and the relationships that you make that last a lifetime, like that's what it's about. And I'm super proud of these guys and how they really galvanized and came together. And now we get on the recruiting trail and make it happen. So thank you all you guys that are here.